The re-election of Donald Trump has had an immediate and substantial impact on shares in clean energy companies. The Wilder Hill Clean Energy Index, which tracks companies involved in the green transition, dropped more than 6% from November 5th to 6th and has stayed down since. Analysts are now concerned about the impact 4 more years of a Trump administration and what it could have on this industry. This is all happening with the backdrop of the COP29 climate summit that's happening right now in Azerbaijan. So joining us this morning from London with his analysis is Chris Johnston, a senior editor at Business Insider. Welcome to your morning.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
Just to set this up for everyone, according to International Atomic Energy Agency, global investment into renewable energy is going to be close to $3 trillion by the end of this year. It's a lot of money. Are those prices likely to be those drops in prices, likely to be a lasting phenomenon?
I mean, it's certainly the election of Donald Trump is not something that the renewable energy industry probably wanted to happen. But I think it's important to remember that it's not really going to stop the global growth of renewable energy. The world is on track over the next 5 years to add more energy generation from renewable sources than it has in the past 100 years. And one of the reasons for that is that solar in particular is just it's becoming an increasingly cheap way to generate electricity. So while, the United States might rail back or dial back some investment in this sector, you've got countries like China in particular really forging ahead with installing solar and wind power, and also countries like India as well. So renewable power is certainly not going away, and it's still a sector that a lot of companies are interested in investing in.
Well, it might not stop it, but could it slow it down? Trump, we know, has promised to ban offshore wind farms. He's going to increase U.S. drilling for oil and gas and levy higher tariffs on foreign goods. So what could his attitude towards green energy mean for the industry worldwide?
Yeah, I mean, it's a complicated picture because, one of the things that Donald Trump has, promised to do is make living costs cheaper for consumers. And one way that is going to happen is from renewable energy, really, because it will cut power prices in the long term. Certainly, the oil and gas industry is expecting something of a deregulation and a bit of a bonanza in that regard. But the U.S. is already pumping an awful lot of oil. So, the ability to kind of keep ramping that up is somewhat limited. So, and also a lot of the facilities that have been built under these tax breaks that brought in by the current Biden administration have generated a lot of jobs in the Midwest and other Republican supporting areas. So any attempt to kind of damage those facilities and those jobs, I think, will be resisted by a lot of politicians, even on the GOP side of the House.
Well, let's turn our eyes northward for a second. Canada is one of the largest oil producing nations in the world. And that being said, we do get around 70% of our energy from renewables. So how could these moves impact our economy?
Yeah, I mean, it's a hard question to be definitive about. I think certainly Canada is going to keep increasing its renewables as well. But you also export an awful lot of oil to the U.S. There's some hope that tariffs that Trump has promised to impose on imports into the U.S. from every other country, that Canadian oil might be exempted from that. I think oil exports are worth about $30 billion to the Canadian economy every year. So if there is any attempt to put further tariffs on those exports, that does pose a threat to the Canadian economy. But it all remains to be seen what he will actually do when he takes office next year. Well,
that is the big waiting game that the world is watching right now. Senior editor at Business Insider, Chris Johnston. Thanks for joining us. Have a great weekend.
Thank you.
If you liked that video, make sure to subscribe to the Your Morning YouTube feed, where you can find all kinds of new content posted every weekday morning.